What mechanics do you want to see more in JRPGs? I'd like to see less random encounters. Anyway, I'd like to see more often the classic quality of life features like fast travel, and if the game has random encounters, the ability to turn them off. Or I'd like less political bullshit. I think the question is like more about what mechanics do I want to see less. I want, going back to the originality and creatively drama that I was talking about earlier, about like 20 minutes ago. I think it's more about, I would like to see more originality, more creativity, you know, and not just the same. I would like to see less Souls-like games, Souls-like influence in RPGs, less open world influence, less convoluted skilled equipment systems. Like I just finished Tales of Berseria for the second time, and I know it's pretty much a 7-year-old game, but I fucking hate the equipment system in there, and I hated the equipment system also in Tales of Arise. So equipment systems like that, you know, I'd like to see more regular equipment systems, classic, traditional. I mean, you can make the battle system complicated or creative or whatever, you know, but it's just the equipment system in JRPGs has no reason to be complex or convoluted or full of fucking penalties. I mean, why can't I just have a regular equipment system? Like, go to the next store, buy the next weapon and armor, and that's it. You know, leave the complicated stuff for the accessories, right? And skill trees, I have no problem if they are a bit complicated, just not too much, as long as they're easy to understand. Or, yeah, they aren't too hard to understand. Or I don't want an RPG whose difficulty is based on skill trees. Like, okay, the game isn't like Rogue Galaxy, for example. Well, Rogue Galaxy was more about the weapon creation system. But yeah, like games that are like, oh, you're sucking at the game, and it's become such a difficult game because your skill tree is wrong. Or, I mean, that's like, really? Come on. And save anywhere, that's another feature that I like. I love save points. And I play a lot of JRPGs. Again, Berseria has a lot of save points. Oh, there's also a lot of backtracking, which is why the fast travel feature was better. There were always a lot of scenes that were in the middle of the area, so the game kind of forced you to backtrack, and that I think that's bad game design. So yeah, save anywhere. That's a good feature. When it comes to mechanics, like, you know, yeah, my biggest gripe nowadays is with equipment systems and skill tree systems. You know, they try to be more creative in that when they should be more creative in battle mechanics and storytelling. I think that's what they should focus more on. Like, stop copying the successful RPGs. You know, just take a risk. But like I said, you know, nobody wants to take a risk because everybody wants to go the safer route. So, in conclusion, I'd like to see more. Well, in my opinion, every single RPG nowadays, most of them have it, but I'd like to see more difficulty settings. Like, if the game's too easy on normal mode, so we can play it on hard, or if it's too hard, just go too easy, go back to easy, something like that. I'd like to see more strategy RPGs, grid-based or real-time, grid-based like Fire Emblem, but with better storytelling, or real-time like Unicorn Overlord, Grow Lancer, you know, those games. The Diofield Chronicle. I'd like to see more strategy RPGs. I'd like to see... This isn't just a mechanic, you know, it's just a whole genre should come back nowadays. That's what I would love to see more tactical RPGs. I want a new Valkyria Chronicles game. What's going on there, Sega? I don't know. There's a crap ton of turn-based RPGs, but still you see a lot of people saying that turn-based is dead, even nowadays, even though it's been proven that it's just not dead, you know, but as a result, I'd love to see more mainstream turn-based RPGs. I know Final Fantasy is never going to go back in that, you know, but other companies, you know, but it's okay. What else? Yeah, I think I've exhausted my options. Do you feel like having 40 plus playable characters in an RPG isn't too overwhelming versus having 4 to 8 party members? Depends on the game, to be honest, but I've always been a fan of JRPGs with tons of characters. I mean, what are my 2 favorite JRPG series of all time? Suikoden and Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem, the old Fire Emblem. And they have tons of characters. Some of my all-time favorite games have tons of characters. Eternal Poison, for example. The Growlancer series, not that much, but yeah. What else? The Trail series. So, as you can see, I prefer games with more characters. But it also depends on the game. There's been, like, for example, take the East series or the Tales series. I wouldn't want either of those franchises to have like 30, 40 party members, you know, there's just no reason to. No thanks. You know, so it's not for every game. It depends on the game. And I like the fact that because it depends on the game, you know, I think some of these games should stick to that. Instead of reducing the amount of party members. What is the oldest RPG you beat? Oldest release date? Well, I think the oldest of the oldest RPGs I've ever beaten in my life was... You know, I've never beaten a single NES RPG in my life. I've played most of them, but I never beat a single one of them. Master System, same. How about Genesis? I think I'm gonna choose Shining Force, maybe? Came out in 1993. Yeah. Breath of Fire, no, that was 95. Shining Force. How would you like a Final Fantasy VI Remake? To be in HD2D, like Octopath Traveler? Or like Final Fantasy VII Remake? Huh. Wow, everybody's voting HD2D. Wow, someone voted Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh man. I don't think this is gonna be too much of a battle. Then maybe I should change the question to Final Fantasy IX. What, with all the rumors going on? Did you enjoy the combat system in Legend of Dragoon? Yes, I did. For its time, it was something different. Nowadays, it would be like, oh, it's just turn-based with, you gotta click the button at the right time to do more damage. It's nothing special, right? But back then, it was special. It was pretty good. I liked it. I'll be honest, I've never been a fan of timing, you know, when it comes to Legend of Dragoon. If I had to time my attacks, you know, it was a bit of a pain in the ass sometimes. And it made the game harder for me, unfortunately. But it wasn't that hard. It never got, like, that ridiculous. And if I hit a difficulty spike, I just grinded. Final boss was freaking bullshit. But I did manage to beat it my second time. I think I fought against the final boss, which has like 4 stages, 4 transformations. And the first time I died at transformation 2 or 3. Then I grinded, and then I beat the crap out of the boss, right? But yeah, I wasn't the best when it comes to timing the attacks. You know, and I didn't love that feature, but I didn't hate it. And I found myself enjoying it more than disliking it. I liked the battle system in The Legend of Dragoon, but back then it was special, but it wasn't that special. Because when I played it, I had already played others that were like kind of similar battle mechanics. So I did get to appreciate Legend of Dragoon. When I played it, the PS3 didn't even exist, I think. So there you go. It's a good game. I think it's a good battle system. Simple, yet engaging. Like, nothing convoluted. Anybody can understand it. Anybody can play it and enjoy it. And even if you don't get a lot of penalties if you miss. If you don't click the button at the right time, the game doesn't punish you, you know? So, it's a good combat. I like the battle system. What do you think about a Phantasy Star 4 remake in the style of Phantasy Star Online 2? No. Phantasy Star 4 remake should be like Final Fantasy 6, in my opinion, like HD2D or something like that. Like in the style of Phantasy Star Online 2, no way, man. I mean, Phantasy Star Online 2, I haven't played it. It looks awesome, but I just don't see the reason why. The game's freaking beautiful. It aged perfectly well, by the way. HD2D, that's what I will do for Phantasy Star 4. Tomb Raider aged horribly, you're right. I'll be completely honest, when I first played Tomb Raider, the game had been out for a few years already, and I thought, even back then in the late 90s, I thought like, no, why is it like this? The controls are off, the shooting is bad, there's no music. I never saw the big deal of Tomb Raider. All I saw were tits. That was my justification. I was like, people like this game because Lara Croft has tits. Call me sexist if you want to, but I just thought gameplay-wise the controls were awful. And the shooting was awful, and I never understood what people saw in Tomb Raider other than Lara Croft herself. That's it. I did play the games, and I was like, no, why do people love this? Tomb Raider, yeah, I have a controversial opinion about it. Check out the poll, man. It's not that much in favor of HD2D. Some people like it. Some people want the Final Fantasy. You just want the remake to be like Final Fantasy VII Remake so you can see Terra and Celeste in their full glory. Trust me, they will be censored. And they wouldn't be censored in HD2 graphical style. So change your vote right now. If it wasn't like in the style of Final Fantasy VII Remake, they will be censored. Trust me. Terra's skirt will be longer. She will be flat. Celeste wouldn't wear that swimsuit type of outfit that she wears at the beginning. Yeah. You want that? You want Final Fantasy VI censored? Do you think Trails in the Sky with Octopath Visual Engine will be the best choice for a remake? No. I don't think the characters in Trails in the Sky are pixels, you know. I'm not sure if they will make a good transition to HD2D. Or maybe they will, like in the Eiyuden Chronicle style. Eiyuden Chronicle is not a remake or anything, but it has this kinda similar HD2D style of graphics. I think that's a better idea. Like Trails in the Sky in Octopath Traveler style? No. More like in the Eiyuden Chronicle style. But I don't know why I feel like Trails in the Sky should be remade. If it's going to be remade, not remastered, remade, I would like to see it in the Trails into Reverie style of graphics. Like big 3D models and stuff like that. Yeah. I'll take anything from that game at this point. What would you prefer, Chrono Cross 2 or Odin Sphere 2? Chrono Cross 2. Definitely. Odin Sphere doesn't need a sequel in my opinion. Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger both need sequels. I think so. Yeah, I would prefer Chrono Cross 2 definitely. Even though I think hard to discuss the possibility of Chrono Cross sequel without spoiling the heck out of the game. So that's a difficult question. The best I can offer is this. There were some, I don't want to call them plot holes, but more like some things that were left unexplained on purpose. It's not like the writer missed them. Masato Kato didn't like forget to explain this or that. Like there were some things that were like he left unexplained, maybe with the possibility of a sequel one day. But I think I've answered this question before, but I think what should happen is that we should definitely get a third game in the series, tying both games and explaining things, maybe to appease the fans, to end the division. I think Chrono Trigger fans need their direct sequel, their proper sequel, because Chrono Cross was never supposed to be a sequel. It was just freaking Squaresoft forcing Masato Kato to make it a sequel, which kind of ruined some of the Trigger magic in it. As much as I love Chrono Cross, I gotta give that to the fans of Trigger. They are right. It kind of butchered a bit the Chrono Trigger story, and it shouldn't have done that. But that wasn't Masato Kato's fault. That was Squaresoft fucking up with their stupid ideas. They should have left Masato Kato's vision intact, and Chrono Cross, wouldn't have messed with the Chrono Trigger characters in the first place. So I think Trigger needs a direct sequel first before we can see a Chrono Cross sequel first. But what I would want in a Chrono Cross sequel is to... Well, the first thing that I want the most is something that involves heavy spoilers, so I'm not gonna say it. But the second thing is that we will need some kind of follow-up to some of the characters and the dimensions, the dimensional paradox that was left in there. And maybe we could do something about Harley. But it's so hard to discuss a Chrono Cross sequel without spoilers. So that's it. 63% of people, based on 80 people, want a Final Fantasy VI Remake with the HD2D graphics. 36% want it in the style of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Okay. That's it, guys. That's it.